Hey everybody, Dennis Prager and Julie Hartman, the Dennis and Julie podcast. I gotta tell you, Jules, I get such wonderful feedback from some pretty classy people.
Me too.
I'm sure you
Via
do.
email.
Yeah. Well, I do in person because of my travels. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that. So hi everybody, whatever your station in life, as they say. So this is not it's an important thought, but it's not worthy of long discussion. But you know, you're so alike. I mean, I love it. It's one of the things I love about you and being with you. The similarity of our wanting to understand everything. So as soon as the music comes on, I get into
a mode.
A mode and a mood. I was thinking mood, but you're right about mode. And I was thinking, everybody has the same experience. Everybody, virtually everyone, gets into a certain type of mood and mode with certain types of music. Everyone. You hear your country's national anthem, forget the words, just the music. You're stirred, sometimes to tears, if you love your country. And is there any visual equivalent in power to the oral, O-R-A-L?
I think so. So one of my favorite publications, which I publicize on this show free of charge. I do it all the time. I love it so much.
It's the Journal of Asian Endocrinology.
That sounds cool.
Okay,
I actually like picking up when I was traveling. Oh gosh, I should tell you about the Bucharest airport. You will love this. I'm pulling a Dennis. You will love this line. Let's put that on the side. I do love reading random journals, but what was our topic? Oh my gosh.
So
hold on.
The visual.
Oh yes, thank you. So one of my favorite publications is the Epoch Times, and they do a life and tradition section, and sometimes they will profile. They have a recent sort of a spread, if you will, or column where someone profiles a different state capital. And it's really beautiful and interesting to see the architecture of these different state capitals. And it got me thinking about how ennobling a space can be. When I went on this 5-week trip to Europe, one of the places that I spoke at, and it was really actually very last minute, the invitation was Oxford. I spoke to the Roger Scruton Legacy Foundation about art and architecture. And one of the things that the main thing that I argued, and I'll post the talk online, but the main thing I argued was that the architecture of a place can tell you so much about the ideology. And you look at Nazi, fascist, communist architecture. When I was in Italy, I went to Ayor, which was Mussolini's fascist utopian city. He created it for the 1942 World's Fair, which never ended up happening because of World War II. And it's all of this white marble, and it's very heavy and straight lines because, curved. Any kind of curves were considered to be feminine, and you go there and literally proportionally with your scale as a human being, you feel overpowered. And it made me so appreciate the White House, the state capitol, because you go into these, sorry, we have to laugh. We have to laugh at that before.
All right. I never hit the mic at the radio show. I do hit the mic in the podcast. Yep.
We have to explain.
That's why we're laughing, because we had a debate about how often I hit the mic.
My dear friends, Dennis and Julie friends, here at the station, we call Dennis MOB, murder on broadcast, because of the amount that he hits the mic. And by the way, when I guest host for you, when I hit the mic, because it does happen,
Yes, and
I, you know what I say? I go, well, I really am a Dennis Prager protege.
That's beautiful. I think that's beautiful.
I just need to start speaking in Hebrew.
That would be beautiful
to get the right tour line. But anyway, you'll appreciate this, because I think what you say about music is so true. But I think that there is something that can be equally ennobling about walking into a magnificent space. I think when you walk into the United States Capitol, you become a character almost.
Well,
it's like clothes.
no, that's true. You know what? I feel that in cathedrals, and
Yes.
and I'm not Catholic and I'm not Christian, but I walk into a cathedral, and I'm supposed to, but it works. I feel God's presence more than at a baseball game.
Of course. And so interestingly, I have a friend who I was with yesterday, and he is looking at homes in Los Angeles to buy. And we went out to dinner, and then we drove around and looked at these various houses, just the outside of them because they weren't open. And he really likes this house, which is actually quite old. On the inside, it's renovated, but the outside is old, and it's sort of Gothic. I actually can't quite figure out the style. It's a little weird looking on the outside. And then we looked at these other houses, and there were these very specky, perfectly manicured lawns, perfect proportions, these gorgeous new homes. And one of the things he said to me is, in a place like Italy, when you tour an apartment or a house, the older it is, it actually has more value. People want the older homes because it's lived in, it has history, it's cool, and people want to discover who lived here before me. Was it a good marriage, a bad marriage? What kind of diplomat may have lived here? And then in Los Angeles, it's like everybody wants the new house that looks like all of the other houses. And I think that has a deadening effect. And so to answer your question, I think architecture can be just as ennobling as music. And I think, and you will resonate with this so much, clothes. Like today, I'll tell you, when I put on these earrings, I felt something.
Did they,
I just thought I'd pause there.
No. Seriously, did they belong to a grandmother or something?
No, they were.
So what did you feel?
I felt classy. I felt pretty. I felt
right.
I felt like I was channeling a part of myself, of a unique, classy, dare I say, timeless girl. And I feel different. I mean, the other day I was on a plane, and I had, you wouldn't approve of this, sorry, but I had a sweatshirt and sweatpants on, and I felt like a troll.
Yeah, I don't approve of it. I would be happy to talk for a long time with you, but if we already have, I wouldn't do it.
Oh, it's huge.
It is depressing to see the way people go to work, but I know I've mentioned this in the past. I don't deny the power of the visual and especially of architecture to be precise, but the direct line to the emotions here. So we open up with a theme, right? With a musical theme. So the second it starts, I am transported. There's no picture of a building. Even the Taj Mahal or the Capitol.
But you have to experience it. You have to walk.
Yes.
It's not a pic. Like
right.
You couldn't see a picture of it. You have to, in the same way you're listening to the music, you have to walk into the building.
Right. So music is a far more accessible emotion bringer than visual. Because if you have to walk into a building, and I fully acknowledge, I said about cathedrals and their effect on me, but the immediacy, the ability of music anywhere on earth, you could be in bed with earphones and you can be brought to almost tears. Anyway, I think it's a gift of God. There's no evolutionary explanation for music's power.
It's really a great topic, and we never plan our topics, but it's so spontaneous. I actually really think that a physical space has an equal effect. And because of all of my travels recently to 7 countries, Italy, Malta, Ireland, England, Romania, Slovakia, and Hungary, and Denmark, so 8, I guess, 8 countries. I understand actually now it's kind of a fascination. Our architecture in the United States is so shabby compared to architecture
That's
in
right.
Europe.
Yeah.
And I'm not,
But is that true for modern architecture in Europe? I don't know if that's true.
No, it's not true. It's not true of modern architecture.
All right. Then the modern and both stink.
But it's so important. Like, I know this may sound bizarre. I actually think people would vote differently if we had older architecture around us. I really do. Because it ties it. There's nothing tying us to our past.
Right.
There's, and also you need.
And that's deliberate.
You need something that is so enchanting and is so dreamlike, I think. And anyway, I think that is the same effect. Well,
yeah.
I don't mean to segue, though. Welcome to Dennis and Julie. We often
segue.
No,
I acknowledge that this immediate reaction to the opening music was going to be a short part of our broadcast. Go ahead.
Yes, but I also, just to maybe close it out, I know I've said this on Timeless before, but as I get older, I'm really trying to be careful about what I consume musically and also my living space, because it really, we don't quite understand this in the modern world, but it has such an effect on you. And this is small, but in my apartment, I haven't the past 2 years decorated for Christmas or Thanksgiving. I'm going to do that differently this year. I'm going to deck out my whole, even if it's just me.
Good.
And how do you feel going into your library? You have so many heirlooms, you have so many pictures and books. Like, do you think it orients you, or are you kind of used to it?
Well, both are true. It orients me and I'm used to it. But I've obviously created it as such. By the way, here's an interesting subject. Again, it's not going to be long, but I do think it's significant.
Yeah.
So everybody who comes into my study, office, whatever you want to call it, is struck by the number of books. There are probably 1,000 books in the room. What would you say?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
It's minimum.
So I on rare occasion, I have mentioned this, but I should do it more. I believe every person's home, apartment or house, everyone should have a bookcase with books.
Of course.
Even if you never read them. To be surrounded by books is a different world than having no books around you. If there are books around you, if there are even multiple bookcases, which in case obviously in my room, you are announcing to the world you take ideas seriously.
But what if they don't? What if someone doesn't take ideas seriously? Should they posture?
Yes.
Why?
Because I'm a behaviorist. If you're still waiting to buy gold, sitting on the sidelines might cost you precious gains. This is Dennis Prager for AmFed Coin and Bullion. That's my choice for precious metals. The current economic climate could make buying gold a very desirable safe haven commodity. The government's overprinting of money, the fluctuation of interest rates, and high inflation can all impact the value of gold, and it's why you should seriously consider buying now. I've been working with AmFed Coin and Bullion's owner, Nick Rovich, for years. I'm glad that I jumped into the precious metals market when I did, but it's never too late. Nick's been in the industry for over 42 years, and he's proud of providing transparency and fair pricing to build long-term relationships. Nick and his team have my back, and they will have yours. They recommend what's in my best interest, not theirs, and I never worry about hidden commissions or huge markups. If you're interested in buying or selling, call AmFed Coin and Bullion for a free coin performance review, 800-221-7694. AmericanFederal.com, AmericanFederal.com.
See, I hate posturing. I think I would almost respect someone more for not doing it. And because I've been to homes where people have the bookshelf of the perfectly curated books of, To Kill a Mockingbird and,
right.
And they have it
right.
perfectly on the wall. It's like, you don't read those. Come on. Who are you fooling?
They're not fooling. They're announcing that it is significant enough to them to have offered a bookcase of them.
I disagree.
Why do you think they're doing it?
To seem worldly, and they're not.
But people don't care anymore. Nobody leaves a house saying, God, I didn't see one book there.
Right.
So it gains you, the average person doesn't think it gains you anything.
I think, I
See,
don't know.
so I'm curious. This posturing, that's your term. So the term used when I speak to young people, you should act happy even if you don't feel it. They go, it's inauthentic. So do you resonate to that? It's inauthentic?
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. No. I resonate to your disliking
right.
of,
yes. Okay.
of that.
So why can't they say about acting in a good mood when they're not in a good mood is like putting out books even though you're not a reader? Why aren't they analogous?
They're not, because when you're the way you carry yourself is of such consequence all the time.
Right, the way you
having
carry
books.
your-
I know, but
yes,
that's
the way
having
you carry-
books on your bookshelf.
Yes,
I mean, then you don't
that-
read them.
So what? But that's how you're carrying yourself.
I think that's just fake.
Why? But so is your good mood if you're in a bad mood.
But it's just completely different.
Why?
Because you carry your mood with you every.
What if you're an actual slob, but you dress up nicely to go on an airplane?
Well, who would do that? No, I'm kidding. People should do that.
Yes, exactly. People should do that.
You know, I just maybe I'm sensitive to it because I, kind of, and I actually sometimes I feel like I trash sometimes my schools or upbringing, but growing up in secular liberal environments, there's a lot of posturing. There's a lot of I am a worldly person. There's just, and especially aesthetically, there's a lot, you go sometimes into people's homes or you go into their apartments and it's really like they're trying to look cool. They're trying to look like they read or look like and it's actually very studied.
Yeah.
And I don't think you should be a studied person. I think it's very, Norman Cousins has this great quote about people who wear the uniform of nonconformity. I just get the heebie-jeebies when I see another, same old coffee table book that every single person has, and another crystal that every single white girl in LA buys, and another, like, it looks so, it's like communist to me, honestly. It's like, who are you? Who are you besides what you think your apartment should look like on Pinterest? What do you actually want to read? What do you actually like, this coffee table book, or did you see it on West Elm and you think you're going to be a cool girl on Instagram if you buy it? I would almost rather people who don't read to not even act like they do, because everyone is becoming the same, or not everyone, but I see a lot of people my age, they're trying to become, the same kind of cool, worldly person. It's like, you're not fooling anybody.
It's not a nightmare to me to imagine your generation thinking, wow.
You haven't been in these, like...
Wait. You're telling me that a large number of your peers are putting up bookcases with books in their apartments.
But they're the same books. They're the same,
wait.
modern
okay.
authors about
they?
feminine. Yes,
are
it's like
they?
A lot. Yes.
Most of the people well, it may not be fair because you went to an elite college, but I find it hard to believe that more than 25% of people your age have bookcases with books in them in their apartments.
I don't know. I don't go to enough apartments.
All right. So yes. Okay. So
what
if I'm right? What if 3 out of 4 people your age have no books on display? So would you prefer that they have no books on display, or books on display but they don't read them? Which would you prefer?
I'd prefer the latter.
Wait. You prefer books on display that they don't read?
Yes.
So why are we arguing?
Because I still think that there is this push right now that I think that, okay, Instagram, and this is something that I don't mean this in a mean way. You just don't understand because of your age and because you're not on these things. God bless you. But I believe that Instagram and social media has homogenized the human experience. It has made people, I've talked about this on Dennis and Julie. I wrote a Washington Examiner article about the subject. If you look at an Instagram profile, you're reduced to a profile picture, a 200 or 150 character bio, and then a limited number of photos and videos. And people, again, who are my age are going to understand what I'm saying, but it has this effect of making people into kind of brands to be marketed. And when you're on social media all day and you're seeing the same kinds of pictures, and there's this kind of cool girl aesthetic with a coffee table book open and a candle going, or like there's a lot of stuff on Instagram about aesthetics, about taking pictures of your food, taking pictures of your home, and it all looks the bleeping same. Every single girl goes out to the same restaurant, takes the same photo of the pasta with the wine, and does the same cheers, I'm with my best friend, or does the same picture of the same feminist book. And it's like, we're all the same. What makes us different? If you want to read about 19th century Japanese, I don't know, state building efforts, read about that. Don't do this homogenization game where you're trying to act so worldly, but you're really just replicating what you see on your Instagram. I think, again, I don't like this sameness.
I agree 100%.
There are no individual. Who's an individual anymore?
Right, but I don't know what it has to do with my simple. Okay, he wants me to ask you a question.
Who's the bigger poser? Someone with a bookshelf full of books they haven't read, or someone who maintains a Pinterest account?
God, I don't know if I agree. Who is the bigger poser? The person who has a bookshelf full of books they haven't read, or someone who maintains a Pinterest account?
I think what I've hit on here is actually really worth discussing, and it may explain my perhaps irrational but nevertheless Pavlovian reaction to just putting books on a bookshelf that you never read. Well, if they're good, people can come and disagree with me for this. I feel like if they're good quality books, I would appreciate that.
Okay.
But if they're BS modern day feminist reads with a cool title to look cool,
I agree.
but that's that's what's happening a lot now.
Right.
And that's what I don't like. And so let me get back to this. This is so interesting to me, actually. When you grew up, and Sean, we'll bring in Shanzi to this discussion too.
On the assumption that he's grown up.
Yeah. That was quick. Did you guys feel like you knew true individuals? Did you sort of feel like your life was
I've only known true individuals.
Did you feel like your life had a cast of characters of truly individual people?
Yeah,
okay,
I
don't feel that way.
Interesting.
I feel that I have had to work very hard to find real individuals.
I didn't say I didn't work hard,
Fair,
but I found them.
I think, and look, it's really easy to romanticize the past. I mean, we live in an era where people excoriate the past. I think there's also another thing where you can say everything was better back then. I'm not trying to fall into that trap. That being said, I do think there were more individuals. There were more unique, truly independent,
characters,
sturdy people. Yes, and there's a real homogenization, and politically,
You're right about
but also
homogenization.
Personality-wise, aesthetically, social media-wise, I feel like people are trying to be a replica, or they're trying to be the kind of person that society, not to sound woke, but that society thinks that they should be. Of course that existed before social media.
Yeah, no.
But social media has
right.
exacerbated it.
That's right. Social media, I think, has exacerbated it. Although I remember in college where they would all think of themselves as nonconformists. They hated to be conformist.
But they're wearing the uniform of nonconformity.
Identically.
That's a Norman Cousins quote. They're wearing the uniform of nonconformity.
The uniform of nonconformity.
So what does it mean to be a true individual? Think about the people you know.
Well, this goes back to a subject that I'm making no headway on with my friends.
Your core.
Core.
That we talked about it on D&J.
I know, but I'm making no headway. It's an interesting subject that none of my closest friends, including psychiatrists, as you know, could come up with a definition of core.
But we all agree it exists.
Sort of like that. Yes, right. What was it? The Supreme Court justice said, I can't define pornography, but I know it when I see it. I can't define core, but I know it when I see it. She has a core. He has a core. I think I know what I'm talking about, or at least to myself. So how did we get onto the core issue?
The homogenization. What makes a true individual?
Yeah. What makes a true individual is a very tough question. Again, I know it when I see it. I know who is real. A good word, another good word. It's not a synonym for core, but it's a good word. Real.
What does it mean to be real?
It means that you are doing things because you have thought it through and have come to believe in them. Not because it's the popular thing to do. By the way, if the popular thing to do is be kind, I'm for people doing the popular thing. But nevertheless, people strike you, they strike me as an individual, a person. If I go into a house and I see 99% of contemporary art up, I generally believe that the interior decorator picked it out.
Okay, this is actually explaining my Pavlovian or knee-jerk kind of dislike of the whole putting up books thing. It's giving the same vibe, to use a very Gen Z phrase, as the interior designer put up, the scribbles on your wall. A lot of people do that with
how many
book setting.
Okay, really?
Yes.
I'm asking, not challenging. I'm just curious. If you said to the average interior designer, "Look, I don't know any books."
Oh my God, Dennis!
They'll get Gibbon's Rise and Fall of the Roman Empire.
No, they may not get that, but interior designers do book. I mean, they buy books for homes.
Yeah,
I mean, but it's all about like
what they
the
buy.
Cover of the book, and does that stack nicely on your, paperweight?
Well,
and
I want to just say this: the Rational Bible has beautiful jackets. No jackets.
Right there.
It's beautiful illustration on the cover. So if you want to decorate your home.
And look, we started the episode by talking about the importance of aesthetics. I'm not decrying the importance of aesthetics, but what's so cool, and when I was in Rome for 2.5 weeks this summer, I would go into every single church and it was different. It was truly unique. It was like that church was its own character.
Are you ready to lose weight but not sure where to start? So I'd like to tell you why I chose PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. First, Dr. Ashley Lucas has her PhD in chronic disease and sports nutrition. The program is science-based. The PhD program starts with nutrition and is much more. They know 90% of permanent change comes from the mind, and they work on eliminating reasons you gained weight in the first place. There are no shortcuts, no pills, no injections, just solid science, science-based nutrition, and behavior change. If you're ready to lose weight for, I think, the last time, call 864-644-1900, 864-644-1900 to get started. Or online at myphdweightloss.com, myphdweightloss.com. Just make the appointment for your one-on-one consultation. Call today, 864-644-1900.
I sense that Dennis and Julie episode have also been contemplating this question of a core. And I think that your statement referring to the Supreme Court justice on pornography, I actually think is spot on. But one way I've tried to figure this out, or try to answer this question that I asked a few moments ago, what does it mean to be an individual? I have started to read about saints. Mm-hmm. For instance, the one I'm reading a bit about now is Joan of Arc. And I remember when I would go into these different churches when I was in Rome, you know how much I love history, and I would get very mad at myself if I didn't know the saint or the, person to whom the church was dedicated. And I remember a friend said to me, you know, when you go into a new church and discover a new saint, it's like meeting a new friend. And I thought that's so cool. And now I see it that way, where these characters are people who you get to know. And I think that's what makes the Torah so cool. Abraham is a different character than Noah, who is a different character than Cain, who's a different character than Abel. These people are true individuals.
Yep. That's
And we
right.
just, again, I struggle to, and of course, you know, all throughout life, Sean was right, this predated social media, but if you don't mind, can we continue with this question? Like, what does it mean to be an individual? It means to have a core. Oh, Sean is saying furthermore.
What has bred more uniform of nonconformity, the left or social media?
Oh, and what has further bred the uniform of nonconformity, the left or social media, he said. Well, let's focus first on what makes an individual.
I'm thinking, obviously, what makes an individual? Well, a big part of it, I have to believe, is convictions that are not shaped by desire to be popular, publicly accepted.
Yes, I think that is a huge part.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
That's very well said.
It's very interesting. It raises a whole nother issue, but it's a worthy issue. So if your kid is popular in high school, it doesn't tell me much about your kid. Your kid may be wonderful and your kid may be pretty awful. They may be popular because they have charm, not because they're an individual, not because they're a fine human being. Does that make sense? But people who are individuals don't seek popularity.
Yes, I think that is the key ingredient. As we are speaking, I'm trying to think of people in my life and in our lives.
It might be the key
who are
ingredient.
individuals,
Yes.
and I think that is the key ingredient. People who do things their own way. And they are something I think is a real hallmark, of an individual is someone who is the same all of the time.
Oh,
No matter
that's
where
interesting.
you put
Well,
them.
all right. So wait, that's authentic.
Well, you said real a few minutes ago.
Right. So is authentic? I'm just asking. Is authentic and individual the same thing?
So, okay. Yes and no. It depends on our definitions. A few moments ago, early in the episode, you were talking about people who say it's inauthentic for me to act happy if I'm
Right.
not happy.
Yes.
So in that sense, the word authentic, I think you should be real, but part of being real is you work on curbing if we were all authentic all the time, you'd probably be asleep right now and I'd probably be like stretching my head and playing none of us are always authentic.
I give a grosser thing to kids. You're authentic if you don't shower, if you don't brush your teeth, if you flatulate in public. That's authentic. So authenticity. There's authenticity of personality, and then there's physical authenticity.
Right. The word authenticity to me gives a very liberal, be authentic in your truth,
yes,
and
right.
if somebody's oppressing you and all
right.
that. I think real is being different. I think being real is being, not. It's really just. I think it's the whole popularity thing. I think it's not seeking popularity, not seeking the opinions of others as your crowning achievement. And I think
you asked, who's an individual? Is that the governing question?
Yes.
So here's another one. You can't be an individual if you're a coward.
Yep.
Courage is is a fundamental characteristic of being an individual.
So you know what part of this is? I think that people my age really lack good role models of an individual. And I know that people are going to think that I am partisan when I say this, but look at someone like Joe Biden, or look at someone like Kamala Harris. Are they individuals?
I don't think so.
Hardly. You know, they are the definitions to me, putting politics aside, of you know, being the replica of who they think that they should be. Donald Trump, say what you want about him, he is an individual.
That's a good point.
He is an individual. And actually,
Right,
it
and he
evinces
does
the core
not-
traits.
And he does not aim to be popular.
He does not aim to be popular. Even among his supporters, he turns away many of his supporters because he doesn't care about being popular. He is immune, sometimes too much so, to the opinions of others. But he's an individual. And you know what? I think sometimes, and I think a lot of people, and I don't mean this at all in a kind of judgmental way. I actually feel for my generation so much. I think a lot of us are really endeavoring to be individuals, and we have no idea what that looks like. And then I think
Role
that's when
models are very important.
we do the whole like, okay, is this who I am? Am I the artsy girl? Am I the this girl? Am I the that? And it's like, no. Don't be a replica. But then also, I think sometimes people can go like, and I know I just went to Europe, but go fly to another country and try to have some wild experience to figure out their individuality. And it's really hard because all of us, I believe and hope, yearn for it, but we don't have good, like, can you name someone growing up, either in public life or in your own life, who you looked at and you went, that is a unique person? That is an individual.
Well, I wouldn't have said unique person. I would have said individual.
Okay, who?
Yeah, my father.
Okay.
That which raises a fascinating question: is what type of man your father is more important than how he is as a father? I think it might be.
So why was your dad an individual?
Because he marched to his drummer. It was clear to me. I mean, I'll give you one out of many examples. I could give you a lot of examples, and some are quite impressive. One I will tell you, it's really impressive. But here's an example that people may not be feel impressive. I think it is. At the Shabbat table, which you're now very familiar with, Friday night, the family would sit down and, you know, it would go on because there's nothing else to do. We couldn't do anything electronic, couldn't watch a movie, couldn't drive anywhere. It was either go to bed or keep talking. So we kept talking. And anyway, my father would, I wouldn't say regularly, but I would say frequently discuss sex. I know you're laughing because it was the last thing that your
Yes.
parents would talk about.
Well, it's the last thing I expected you to say.
Okay, it was the last thing almost anybody watching us would expect me to say. That's correct. That's why I said it. That really gives you an idea. The man was an Orthodox Jew wearing a yarmulke, not using electricity on the Sabbath, and yet talk about sex.
And you're saying this evinces his individuality?
Yes, of course it is. Because if he'd have asked, what should I talk about as an Orthodox Jew at the Sabbath table, he would not have come up with an answer, sex. He would have come up with an answer, well, the portion of the Torah that the Jews are reading that week, or you know, some insight into the Talmud, or what have you. He didn't ask what is the appropriate thing for me to talk about. He asked, what do I have on my mind that you might find of interest?
I think another ingredient of this, and I know I'm talking a lot about social media, but it's so pertinent for my generation, is that part of being an individual is having a rich inner life.
So
what do you do in private? Like what when nobody's watching? And I think this is foreign to you because, first of all, you're an individual, and second of all, you didn't grow up in the age of social media. I grew up in the age where you broadcast every single thing you're doing. Every single thing. And so a big question, and I ask myself this when I use social media is, why do when I go to a place, I feel the urge to take a photo, because otherwise I feel like it didn't happen. Because of the way that just growing up, I feel like I have to take a picture, and I'm so over this now, but I used to feel like I had to post. And then I really asked myself this question: can you have an experience for you and not tell anybody about it? And it's funny because even though I have a show, 2 shows, and our lives are but we don't really broadcast our lives. I mean, we do, but we're more so talking about values. Even though in a way I have a very public facing job, I would consider myself to be a private person. The other day we film right by Forest Lawn Cemetery, which, by the way, if anybody's ever in Los Angeles, you have to go to Forest Lawn. It's beautiful. It was the cemetery that was, and it's all American. It's the cemetery right near us here, which has all of these replicas of statues of David, for instance, Michelangelo's David. There are reliefs of the Constitution, of the Last Supper. It's all around. It's like an American cemetery. It's amazing. And the other day I just walked through there. I just drove there after work alone and just walked through there, and I looked at some of the graves, and I noticed, by the way, that every single grave, it doesn't say what job you did. It doesn't say what religion you were. It didn't say how successful you were. It said mother, sister, daughter, brother, husband. In other words, I went and I did something to fill me up that I didn't tell anybody about, that I didn't post on Instagram, because that's my relationship with Julie. And then in turn, I think that makes me an individual.
Okay. Yeah, it does.
Like who is a person outside of the public?
Well, also, you did something almost nobody else does. You're 24 or
I walked around a cemetery.
Yes, exactly. That's correct. And you went to a
call
cemetery.
Call my doctor.
All right, maybe.
Julie's wandering among the dead.
Call my doctor is not a funny line, because it's like, where does bravery end and stupidity begin? So are you going to jump across the Grand Canyon? That's bravery, but it's also stupid.
Right. Before we continue, I want to tell you about MyPillow. I use many MyPillow products. I walk into work every day wearing the My slippers, and then I quickly change into heels. I sleep on the MyPillow and the Giza Dream bed sheets, and I use My towels, among other products. And you can get many of these products at a discount if you use the promo code Hartman. MyPillow's latest deal is the sale of the year. For a limited time, you'll get 60% off of the aforementioned Giza Dream bed sheets. That comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. You'll get a set for as low as $39.99 with the promo code Hartman. Just go to mypillow.com and click on the radio listener square and use the promo code Hartman, or call 1-800-566-6745 and use the promo code Hartman. Along with this offer, you'll get deep discounts on all MyPillow products, including the MyPillow mattress topper, the MyPillow towel sets, and more.
So it's sort of like, where does individuality end and being a nut begin? It's not easy to answer.
Well, you are true. I mean, people. I'm at your house and I go over, and you're just scrolling on a new. I mean, your interests are truly.
Yes.
I mean, I love Dennis, but I get so bored with the whole audio equipment thing. God bless you. But you really love this stuff, and it's not. Again, this is antithetical to you, but I am telling you, this is revolutionary among my age. You do it for you. You're not yes. trying to impress anyone with your audio equipment.
Well, look, I mean,
obsession.
My life would be a good example of an individual. In high school, I didn't do any homework. I didn't go to parties. I never liked parties. I always actually disliked them. I have even a reason why.
I love parties.
Okay, that's fine.
I love a good party.
You're an individual and love parties.
Yeah, that's fun.
Fine. Exactly.
And I love people watching, even if the people are kind of insufferable.
But I just want to say,
them.
Talk about being. This is not bragging. I'm just giving not at all bragging. I'm just noting, because I'm the life I know best. This would characterize an individual. When I was in high school, I went every week to the New York Philharmonic Library to follow symphonic scores and teach myself how to conduct. That's an individual. Now, you could even say it's weird, but it's clearly an individual.
I think what's sad, and when I'm about to say this, it's going to sound really hippie. I believe that we have immense amount of responsibilities in life. I believe that we have an obligation to all of those around us to behave well, to be happy, as you say. But I think a lot of people in my generation, we don't live lives for ourselves.
Right. Well,
We don't live for
our subject.
we live for other people. And I even recognize this, and as you often say, I don't really take credit for it. I've always been an individual. This is the whole core thing.
But you
I was
do
born.
like parties.
I do like parties, yes. And I'm a fun time at a party.
But not in a good way.
I'm a fun bleeping time.
Live for themselves and live for the betterment. There's a difference.
Right, yes.
No, but there's this
she
big-
doesn't mean live for yourself, that you're selfish.
Yeah,
Live
right.
for yourself means you march to your drummer,
Yes, like
not to everybody else's.
You know a saying I love and I've been thinking about so much recently.
Read the room.
That is a really good one. Astrid said that one.
Yes,
that's
she's changed my life.
Well, that's a great one. My mom has
Yeah.
been saying that since I was little. It's a great saying.
Yeah.
One of, hold on. We'll recall it. Damn it. Read the Room was such a good. I got
yeah.
it. A saying that I love is everywhere you go, there you are.
Oh, that is great.
Everywhere you go,
I never heard
there
that. Yeah.
you are.
Right.
You know, and I have found, there have been times when I have found in life, I'm like, oh, if I just do this, or if I run away here, or if I go
Right.
to
No.
no,
but
you're still
bring,
you.
You bring you.
You
Yes,
bring you.
You bring
and
you.
so I think a really, and again, you and I are aligned. We have obligations to people. We have responsibility, all of that, of course. But we are fundamentally, for our whole lives, we're always going to be with one person, ourselves. All day, every day, we are in our bodies. And so I just think it's important to have a good relationship with yourself. You know, the other day.
Wait, what does that mean?
Okay, I'll give you an example. The other, I used to have no work-life balance, like none. And Sean especially knows this. I mean, Timeless and Dennis and Julie was my whole life. And I recently have been trying to have some work-life balance. And recently, you know what I did? You will love this because it shows your influence on me. I went to a cigar store.
Yeah.
And it's fun. And I found one where you don't have to pay a fee to go into the smoking room. It's actually kind of a small one. And I go in, and maybe it's the guys thing. It's really fun. They love me. I come in maybe twice a week, and I'll open the door and I'll go, "What's up, gentlemen? Who's the girl on the docket today? Who broke our heart? Who's bitching and whining to their tell me about the broads." And I'll sit down and I'll go, "Gentlemen, what's going on? What's sport?" And they think it's hilarious. And I'm not doing it. I mean, I don't have a camera crew on me, obviously. I'm not doing it for Instagram to be like, I'm so cool and quirky and I have such a rich life and I'm so fun that I go to cigar. I could do the whole post myself with a cigar as all the girls do. You need to show that you're out and about. I don't do it for that reason. I do it for Julie. I do it because it makes me feel silly. It makes me feel like I like myself. It makes me feel fun, and I go home and I'm happy. Nobody knows. I hadn't told anyone in my life that I do that until right now because it's my relationship with myself.
Yep.
I'm
Okay.
reminding why I like Julie and who Julie is. And then I think I'm better when I come into this show. I think I'm better when I come into my life because I know Julie. I don't think a lot of people know themselves. They don't spend time with themselves. They spend time doing what they think they should do so that other people on Instagram think that they have a cool life, and they don't.
Know yourself is a big one. It means you have to know your nature. And I don't think people do. Because then you would know where you have to battle. You can't be a better person if you don't know what the raw material is.
Right.
How do you make a good person if there's no raw material? but that's another subject entirely. Why did we even get onto this about being an individual? It's so important. By the way, so back to my pet peeve. Yeah, about the books that they haven't read and so on. But my pet peeve is clothing. You know, I fly almost every week of the year. I certainly fly 100 times a year, so that would be average twice a week. I'm on 100 planes a year, I'm sure. So I'm almost always in a shirt and tie, never a jacket. It's too warm. And very often, the flight attendant, male or female, will comment on how much they like the fact that I'm dressing classy for the flight. And on occasion, I even feel I get special attention. Even I'm not saying they know, Dennis Prager.
Right.
It's just this man who was dressed up on a flight, and then I'm in first class, so I see everybody coming onto the plane, and the very vast majority of them are dressed as if they were going to the beach. I mean, they're not wearing a bathing suit, but
Oh, I know.
But you know what I mean?
Of
I'm
course.
saying, jeans and t-shirt.
But it's because we talked about this on a Dennis and Julie. Sardines will act like sardines.
Okay, but if you're a sardine who acts like a sardine, then you're not an individual. That's the subject of this
Fair.
podcast. So that's what you want. If you want to be an individual, start acting differently than the masses.
Oh, 100%. I have been thinking about this so much because what I am trying to do right now at 24 years old is just steer myself really well in life.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to steer myself. And so I have thought about this, and I actually wrote down a list the other day. Who is Julie? What are things that Julie will do at all times? And one of the ones I wrote was I will wear elevated clothing everywhere I go.
You did?
Yes. And I will do so in my own. I've tried to do this and then I haven't. And I will try my best to do so in my own apartment.
Wow.
Because I wear PJs all day. Like I love wearing. I will go home and just put on PJs, even if it's 2:00 in the afternoon. And then if I'm going out later, I'll change. My default is to go back into PJs, and I'm actually trying to work on wearing day clothing that is casual, but
it'll have an effect on you.
A signal. What is and. This is, yes, I think I think it's cool to write a list and follow it. Sort of treat it like your class curriculum or your study guide, things that you have to do. Like I tell myself, pray every morning, listen to non-rap music, wear great outfits all the time. And then you actually become more of an individual.
You're into rap music?
I am.
That's so interesting.
It's so weird. I love rap music. I love Drake. I love Kanye. I love Lil Wayne.
This is so interesting.
Yeah, I know. I have delinquent music taste, and but you know what? I actually need your help with this, and I want songs that really inspire and elevate me. And I'm trying to move more to that. This is so embarrassing, but one of the songs that I call one of my classy songs is Mr. Blue Sky.
Sean, Mr. Blue Sky?
That's one of my classy ones. Because it's not Lil Wayne rapping about his gallivants.
Uh-huh.
I love rap.
Okay.
It's fun. You don't listen to any rap ever?
Well, it's not music to me. So anyway, I'm not a lyrics man. I'm almost abnormal that way.
Okay. I know I'm making.
Oh, we got to hold on.
Go to the middle of the song. Sun is shining in the sky. There ain't a cloud inside. Go to the middle. This is the best part.
This is rap?
He thinks this is rap.
No, I'm asking you.
No,
I
this is one of my classy
Yeah, this is a
songs.
great song.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to give me an example of rap and then say, Dennis,
we'd
this
have
is
to
why I
bleep
like
so
it.
much.
I'd have to give you a drink.
I'm trying to listen to music that gives me a more range of human emotions.
Right.
And I think the rap emotion is very like you walk into a room, you walk into a stadium and everyone's yelling your name. I'm trying to listen to more music that actually, I know it sounds corny, that reminds me of the enchanting in life. This is amazing because your life is very different.
Because
you don't know the influences of people. And I think this is what makes this podcast special. I know the influences that my generation is being bombarded with on social media and in music. Right. And that's why I saw it when I sought out you, it was so incredible. The wisdom that you were sharing was so incredible because it was a way to cut through all the mud. And we're not like, okay, what do you think? Muck. Do you, when you're listening to a song, do you think of the tragedy in life? Do you think of like merit? Like, what do you?
I think of the tragedy in life with classical music.
Okay, see, that's important. That's so important. I don't know if many of us listen to music that makes us think of tragedy in life.
Huh.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
What is this? What is the genre?
This is Hotline Bling.
No.
This is Drake.
Is this rap?
This is like a Julie song.
This is not rap, right?
I know with that Hotline Bling, dun dun, it could only mean one thing. Dun, dun. I know with that Hotline Bling, it could only mean one thing. Ever since I left the city, you reputation for yourself now. Isn't it really good? This is like I like, oh my God. Sean's cracking up. Okay, wait. Let me think of one. I can actually pull up one. Oh God, this Dennis and Julie, man. It's hilarious.
Are you ready to lose weight but not sure where to start? So I'd like to tell you why I chose PhD weight loss and nutrition. First, Dr. Ashley Lucas has her PhD in chronic disease and sports nutrition. The program is science-based. The PhD program starts with nutrition and is much more. They know 90% of permanent change comes from the mind, and they work on eliminating reasons you gained weight in the first place. There are no shortcuts, no pills, no injections, just solid science, science-based nutrition, and behavior change. If you're ready to lose weight for, I think, the last time, call 864-644-1900, 864-644-1900 to get started. Or online at myphdweightloss.com, myphdweightloss.com. Just make the appointment for your one-on-one consultation. Call today, 864-644-1900.
Okay. Dennis. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Play Plain Jane. Play Plain Jane. Ride with the mob. Hum to Allah. Check you and me.
Wait,
and do your job.
I feel
Ferg
stupid
is
asking.
the name.
Has anything you've played qualified as rap?
Oh my, I don't know.
Ayo, Ferg.
Yeah. Ride with the mob.
Yeah, this is rap.
Voila. Check in with me and do your job. Ferg is the name.
You like it?
Torno for the watch.
Do I like it?
Plain Jane. Yamagini chain. Rest in peace to my superior. Hermes Linka feed a village in Liberia. TMZ.
Oh my God, help me. This is like a college song. Look at him. Look at Zach.
You know, Ben Shapiro did a rap song. It went viral. I got to do one.
Wait, play. Play. Hold on. We're really getting into this. Oh, you want to hear a great song? You want to hear this is where I love my generation.
Only if Dennis is good at twerk.
Play Replay.
Yeah.
Play Replay by Ayaz.
Replay by Ayaz.
It's like a melody in my head. Yes, this is a really good one.
like a melody in my head
that I can't keep out, got me singing like na 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 every day. Got my iPod stuck on replay. Shawty's like a melody in my head that I can't keep out, got me singing like hey na 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 na. It's just such a good song.
I like it. I like it. I do.
Yes,
I've liked
I
pretty
actually
much
like
all
this
of
kind
your
stuff.
selection.
He
yeah.
likes Plain Jane, but it's a badass.
Copyright infringement. That's the name of this episode. Yeah, it's funny.
But it's bad. I like badass music.
See, well, this is not okay. Maybe it's badass music. The
Replay is
the
like
stuff I don't
fun.
like. I think it has a name, grunge. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I don't-
Where
I
it's,
don't- Yeah, no. I don't do that either.
that's not. I don't see a melody there. There was essentially a melody here. Mm-hmm. The answer on individual, if one wants to become one, pursue something that most people your age don't. That's where hobbies might come in. That
But not
What-
for Instagram.
what does that mean? Oh, not in order to
Don't-
illustrate it on Instagram.
Don't
no,
do
that's
something
correct.
that
Yeah.
nobody watching you that has nothing to do with what other. You know what? Do something. This is how you really know. Don't tell anybody about it. Do an experiment with yourself.
Well, I wonder if it would work. Would it work?
I don't know. I think that we are so. I think that my generation has been
That's
so
why
used
and
to broadcasting, and I
that's
actually
why
am not trying to be mean.
Popular is the antidote to individuality. You can't seek the curse of humanity, or one curse. You know, people say the people. New Testament says the love of money is the root of all evil. There are a number of roots. The one root of evil is the pursuit of being liked by everybody.
Yes. It is one of the things that I have come to understand as I've gotten older is that if you are doing something noble in life, and if you're doing something truly as an individual, it is a guarantee that you are going to be disliked. If you're not disliked, that's actually strange. That means that you're not doing, that means that, I mean, who is liked by everybody? It's impossible. If you are not, I mean, you shouldn't endeavor to be disliked, but I actually think it's a good sign that there are people who hate you. I'm being serious.
She's
who
right.
hate you
I know.
because it
I
means
have
that you
people who
stand
hate
for
me.
something.
Yes.
Like, of course.
Isn't a certain level of conformity necessary in society?
Yes, it's a tough. He says, isn't a certain level of
Yes,
conformity
of course. You have
necessary?
moral conformity. You have moral
Well,
conformity.
no. Well, you want moral nonconformity too. It depends on the society.
Right, that's true. That's true.
In Germany, you wanted moral
Of
nonconformity.
course. In a Judeo-Christian, free American
look,
society.
Yeah, these are all complex issues because people. You know what we should discuss? This has really been. It's been on my mind since I was your age, because I could prove it, because one of the chapters of the 9 questions people ask about Judaism, which I wrote at your age, is if religion is supposed to make people better, how do you account for unethical religious people? It bothered me. It actually bothers me 100 times more when a religious person acts poorly than when an atheist acts poorly.
Why?
Because the atheist has not brought a bad name onto religion. And I believe that religion is the only vehicle ultimately that can make better people.
Okay, here is why it may bother you, and here's why it also bothers me when a religious person acts poorly as compared to an atheist. Okay, so I have been fascinated by the question of, okay, I'll give you an example, a particularly controversial example. The other day, tragically and horrifically, Hamas executed 6 Israeli hostages, including one Israeli American. And so much of the reaction of the United States populace and a lot of the West was to blame Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Right.
And to blame Israel. Now, look, you can like or dislike Bibi Netanyahu. You can like or dislike Israel's response to October 7th. You can have your opinions about that. But to me, it is quite bizarre to look at Hamas, which executed 6 people by shooting them in the head. They held these hostages underground for over 300 days. One of them lost his arm in a grenade. They shoot them execution style in the back of the head, and the outrage is funneled at Israel and not at Hamas. And I realized that there's a reason for this.
Yeah.
It's because Israel claims to stand for something. Israel actually stands for something. But when Hamas doesn't stand for anything, they're not judged against anything. It's like, oh yeah, that's Hamas. It's the same way when a religious man has an affair. It's a much bigger deal and more hypocritical than if a secular man has an affair.
Right.
The crime is the same. Somebody cheated on his wife.
I always say that an atheist can't be a hypocrite.
But only
a religious person
exactly.
Can be a hypocrite.
And you're punished for standing for something because it's very stark the way that you deviated. If you're a religious person and you believe in fidelity and faithfulness, it is more stark of a contrast when you do not live up to those standards than when someone who doesn't even stand for those standards does that. But we have to be aware of that in our society, and we're seeing it right here. I mean, this is what Putin does, and this is what China does. They say, "Oh, the West is hypocritical." I read Chinese Communist Party propaganda on my show recently. They go, "Oh, the hypocritical capitalist West."
Yes.
They preach
human
free,
rights.
yes,
and then
free speech, and it's like, well, at least even if we're falling short, which of course we do,
right.
At least we're standing for something.
That's
you
right.
don't even allow any free speech.
That's correct.
It's ridiculous.
Yes, you got it right.
So yes, be an individual. Individuals are fun. I try, and also maybe we can close on this. The way that I think become more of an individual is surrounding myself by them. Mm-hmm. Individuals feed off of individuals. You feel more.
That's a good point.
You feel more courage to be you when you're seeing, and you admire someone for being different too.
Yeah. Well, that you shun. He's saying you shun fake people from your life. That's it. That is a product of your being an individual. Then it becomes effortless. Anyway, I raised my kids, and this will be my parting point. I raised my kids, and I marched to the beat of a different drum. I told my kids, I don't care what your grades are. How many upper middle class parents say that to their kids? I don't care what your grades are. I only care what your character is. And I by the way, I didn't know if it would work. I only knew that's the only way I can authentically raise a child, because I didn't care what their grades were. I only did care what their character was.
See, I would really care what my kids' grades are.
Yeah.
I want them to work.
Right, I understand. But being lazy is a bad character. So, but what if they worked at something else?
Okay, that's fair.
Oh, okay, fine. I didn't work at school. I did work at other things, which have been with me all of my life. The languages and the music, in particular.
I have a fun way to end the show.
You have a fun. Says he has a fun way to end the show. Wait. Before he says it, let's take a bet. Do you think it will be a fun way to end the show?
I do.
I
actually do.
I will bet you $5 that he's wrong.
He's gonna play something. Let's hear it.
Okay.
In the honor of Julie liking rap.
In the honor of me liking rap.
In the honor of Julie liking rap.
In 2017, Dennis, you read some rap lyrics on your show.
Oh my gosh! Yes, play this.
I've hidden this from you since 2017.
In 2017.
About it behind the scenes because I took what you read and put it to a beat.
All right, just turn it up.
You are a rapper, Dennis.
This was from 2017. This is 7 years ago.
Ayo, my pen and paper cause a chain reaction to get your brain relaxing, a zany actin' maniac in action. A brainiac, in fact, son, you mainly lack attraction. You look insanely whack when just a fraction of my tracks run. My rhyming skills got you climbing hills. I travel through your mind into your spine like siren drills. I'm sliming grills of roaches with spray that disinfects and twisting necks of rappers till their spinal column disconnects. Put this in decks and check the monologue. Turn your system up.
And there was no
and
music
indulge in the
when I did
marijuana
this.
smog. This is the season for noise pollution, contamination, examination of more cartoons than animation.
Damn.
My lamination of narration hits the snare and bass in a track for duck rapper interrogation. When I declare invasion, there ain't no time to be starting. Gazing, I turn the stage into a barren wasteland. I'm infinite.
Wow, Dennis has bars.
What does that mean? Dennis has bars.
We'll end on that. He'll just have to figure it out. Dennis, how can they reach us? By having me tell. Yes.
And I was fun. That was fun.
That was fun.
So do I owe her $5? But she didn't take the bet.
You can reach us at julie@julie-hartman.com. How many times did you hit the mic today?
Once.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember our Instagrams and Twitters. Can you remember them? I'm the whole episode you're talking about social media. You can follow me, whatever, on Instagram at Julie R. Hartman. I do respond to direct messages and post good things worthy of your time. And you can follow Dennis at the Dennis Prager and Dennis Prager on Twitter and DennisPrager.com and PragerU and probably all these other things. But just email me. I love hearing from you. And
I got a message, by the way. Whatever your religion or no religion, I conduct services for the holiest days in Jewish calendar, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, every year. I have it for 17 years. People of all faiths attend. Go to PragerHighHolidays.com, PragerHighHolidays.com, and you could also watch it streamed through Salem.
You also may see an appearance from Julie.
Really?
Yeah, I come every year.
Wow.
Bye. Great to be with you.